Welcome to the High Level Entrepreneur, a podcast with me, Joella Skog. In today's episode, I am a little bit sick, which is why my voice is a little bit off today, but I still really wanted to record this podcast episode for you today because I wanted to talk about the shifts and the inner shifts and behaviors between people who get stuck in growing their brand as an expert and as a go-to person instead of the go-to person, instead of an industry leader, the one that people truly want to work with. That's what I'm going to be speaking on today. Because the truth is, you are probably someone who has already achieved great results for your clients. You already have, you're brilliant, you have happy clients, but you kind of feel like you're not fully recognized in your industry as a go-to person. And when I say industry, it's not just about your colleagues in the space you're in. I'm also saying you don't feel recognized as an industry leader for your ideal clients. You feel like people are going to other people, being coached or having a consultant or whatever it is that you do. They choose other people and they pay other people way more than they pay you. So you're kind of wondering, like, what makes someone make more money? What makes someone charge so much money for what they do for the same thing that I offer? And what makes me charge less? And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Why some people are paid more, why some people attract more premium clients, why some people scale their businesses and seemingly seem to be able to work much less than you do and put in way less work than you do. That's what I'm going to talk about today. And I wanted to say that the reason why you want to embrace industry leader energy in your brand instead of just being an expert and a person to work with or an option in your industry is because this is the way to attract premium clients who truly seek you, not just your offers, but they want you. So whatever it is that you sell, they're probably going to buy because they have so much trust with you as not just an expert and an authority, but as the go-to person that they deeply want to work with, because there's something about you, there's something about your level of leadership that just makes them want to work specifically with you. Okay? It's also easier to stand out from the competition. It's easier to become the one and only for your target audience, okay? And it also means that when you are the go-to person, when you are an industry leader who consistently attracts premium clients to you, that means there's a higher demand for your services, right? And that means you can have higher prices because people are reaching out because they want you. They're not reaching out because they need a coach or they need a consultant or they need an expert. They're reaching out because I want to work with you and I know that I want to work with you. So I'm willing to pay a high ticket price because there are no other options for me. Okay. And it's also, when you're building your brand as an industry leader, you become more relevant, more long term. You're able to shift your business and your niche and your positioning because there's a certain level of like legacy you are creating when you are an industry leader. It's not just about being perceived as an expert, all right? Some people, if they are growing their brand and being seen as an expert in a certain niche, if they decide to completely close down that business where they no longer, offer those services, they are not necessarily going to be automatically successful in the next niche because they had grown so much brand as an expert and as a go-to person because they are an authority and expert in a specific niche. And that's key, all right? Having expertise and authority in a niche is like the baseline. We're not saying that you shouldn't do that. That's just hygiene factors. The next level of that is actively becoming known for who you are, not just what you do. So when you become known for who you are, you could honestly close down your business today and start a brand new business, and there would still be people interested in what you're doing. You could start like a fashion brand, whatever it is, and people would be interested in what you're doing because of who you are. All right. So they have so much trust and connection to you as a leader that even though they see you as an industry leader in your niche, and that's why they would work with you, they would probably come with you into any kind of niche because, again, you've built your brand as a leader and as someone that people want to follow and people want to keep an eye on, not just as someone who gives value online. Okay. So I wanted to talk about, what the difference is in behaviors between experts and industry leaders and people that focus on building their brand as an expert versus an industry leader. So an expert, they base their authority on what they have achieved, on their experience, on their results, on external validation, on what people think of them. An industry leader will source that authority internally. So that means an industry leader isn't waiting to be validated and doesn't wait to have tons of clients or be in media or be on podcasts or whatever to feel like an authority and feel like a leader. They already perceive themselves as having value to bring to the table. They're not waiting to be invited for a seat at the table. They're already at their own table and inviting people to their table, if that makes sense. So this is the person who isn't trying to get a seat at the table. They're creating their own table and people go sit at their table because they want to be part of that space. All right. That's the difference between being a follower and being a leader. And building your brand as an expert means you're teaching other people what you know. You're sharing your knowledge, you're sharing your expertise, yes. But industry leadership means that you shape how people think about a topic. So it's not just about what you know, it's not just about the knowledge you have acquired, it's not just about the facts, the science, it's about your perspective, what you think about this area, what you think about your own expertise. So, for example, you know, you could if you're a copywriter, you could have all this knowledge about the best type of copywriting. You could have studied all of the copywriting books in the world, okay? Taken all the courses and worked with top clients, and that's amazing. You'll attract clients because of that. But what really makes a difference is your perspective on the best type of copywriting and how to actually achieve results for your clients. And that's what we want to hear about because all of the knowledge that you have acquired, somebody else can just copy that. Okay? Somebody else can copy that, and you could have the same knowledge, and people could just copy all your content, copy everything you're doing. And that means that they could technically grow to the same level as you if you are focusing on shaping your brand and shaping your positioning based on just your expertise. But nobody can have the opinions that you have. Nobody can have the unique perspective you have. And nobody can be you. If you are currently doing anything in your personal brand or anything, talking about anything that people could just copy and just, you're doing something wrong. Because in a world of the AI growth, it's becoming increasingly easier to become average. Okay. Before it was difficult to be average. Most people just sucked. They sucked at content, they sucked at marketing, and they really needed to learn and study and practice becoming good or even average, right? Now it's becoming increasingly easier to be average. So what does that mean? Well, it means that what is going to make you stand out? It's going to be literally your inner authority, your inner leadership. It's going to be that authentic leadership energy that you can bring into your personal brand and the uniqueness of you and your opinions and your perspectives. All right. And an expert attracts clients or job or opportunities because they solve problems, because they can help. And people come to them because you can help me with this problem because you're an expert. An industry leader will attract people because of who they are. Okay. So, and an expert is seen as an option, an industry leader is seen as the option, the one option that I want. Like, this is the person that I go to for help with this. And the thing is that, you know, you might like the ideal client, they're not thinking about you as like that's a leader, that's an industry leader. That's not what they're thinking about. I want to clarify that. Nobody, I'm not saying when I say industry leadership, like nobody's going to necessarily call you an industry leader. Your ideal clients aren't going to know that's why they're drawn to you. But this is about creating that relationship with your client in their mind where they think of you as like the top choice. And that's not, and they might think it's because, oh, but she's such an expert or he's such an expert at what they do, that's why I want to work with them. That might be what they think they are drawn to, but in reality it's your level of leadership, it's your level, your opinions, it's your perspectives, it's your internal authority, the fact that you have sourced that authority internally and you're not waiting to be validated. It's your confidence. That's really what they're drawn to, even though they might think, oh, but they're an expert and they can help me with my problem. So they might come to you and say, I have this problem. Can you please help me? But that's not necessarily why they're even approaching you. It might be they're just like drawn to you and they want to be in your space and they want to work with you and they want you to be the person that transform their life or business. Also, the thing is with the industry leader thing, when you become the option, the person, the go-to person, that means you are in your own lane and you don't have competitors, because like I told you, you are not trying to sit at the table and at a crowded table trying to get your voice heard. You're not even at that table. You left that table long ago. You're at your own table and you have your followers, your ideal clients, and other people coming to your table to listen to you, what you have to say. You are not trying to make your voice heard at someone else's table. So that means there are no competitors, because how the heck can you compare that person with that person when it's like there's a uniqueness to each person's personal brand that's just incomparable? And that means, for me personally, if clients are drawn to working with me, that's for a reason, and I trust that reason. If clients are drawn to working with someone else, that's for a reason, and they should trust that reason. But there's a uniqueness to your personal brand that's just like, it's uncopyable. And what I want to emphasize here is, I mean, people copy me all the time. I see it. I see people that follow me. They copy my ideas. They copy my wording. And I'm like, what the heck happened? Like, people are literally taking a podcast episode I did or something I said and kind of trying to talk about it as if it's their own thing suddenly. And it doesn't annoy me at all, to be honest with you. I just think it's unfortunate because they are acting like followers and not as leaders. They are looking at what someone else is doing and trying to copy that and trying to make that thing their own, instead of being a leader and thinking and using their mind and thinking freely on what they want to say and what they have to say. And like, because the things that I share are not things that I've learned. Like, the things that I share are things that I've learned and integrated and felt and known and experienced and feel, and I support clients on it. Like, this is not based on, I read a book, so let me talk about this. That's just, that's the most basic thing you could do. Anyone can read a book and just kind of talk about what you learned in the book, right? Not that I don't learn, I learn a lot, but I would never speak about something I don't fully know in my body, soul, and heart. And that's why it doesn't annoy me. It just makes me sad that they don't understand what I'm talking about when I talk about industry leadership. And it also makes me know that, like, even if that did upset me for whatever reason, it's like, well, you can't be Joella Skog. Like, there's just no way you can copy me, because I am me. And like, there's a deep authenticity in everything I speak about is literally from my mind, body, and soul. And it's literally like my brand is my brand because it's me, like the way I dress, that's me, you know. And it's like I've all I try to be is that like extremely myself, like that's just really what I try to be, like so much myself. So if people copy it, I know that they're not being themselves because that they're just borrowing from me. All right. So when it comes to industry leadership, like what it really is I'm in my own lane. I've created my own rules, my own set of rules. I have my own brand, and I'm not even looking at what other people are doing. I'm not even aware of what's going on. Because if you're constantly waking up every day and comparing yourself to other people and placing yourself in some industry comparison, then you're not an industry leader. That's what I think is like I want to emphasize. Industry leadership is not about a hierarchy and placing yourself at the top. Maybe what's actually occurs in your client's mind. Like they see a hierarchy and they place you at the top. But the thing is, that's not what you're doing. You are not trying to compare yourself to anyone else and placing yourself at the top, because what really puts yourself at the top is the fact that you don't care about the hierarchy and you're not even looking at other people and you couldn't care less about other people. That's really what it is. And the difference also between the expert person and the industry leader person is that the expert person is looking at trying to fit into the market and trying to fit their offers into the market, trying to fund their positioning based on the market. And that's classic business strategy. That's smart in a way if you want to fit into a market. Okay. An industry leader can make moves regardless of what the market is because they can also affect the market and make an impact on the market. And they can make people want something that they didn't even know that they wanted or needed. An industry leader is kind of saying, this is what it is. This is what you should learn. This is what you should do. This is what everybody needs to understand. And I'm here, I'm leading the way. You need to follow me. Like, they're not looking at like, what are people saying? What are people know? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't understand your ideal client, do the market research, understand the industry you're in. Yes, that's hygiene factors. All right. 100%. I tell my clients all the time, you need to understand your ideal clients. You need to talk to them. You need to understand it. But that doesn't mean you are constantly making decisions based on that. You are making aligned decisions for you and your business, and trust your intuition that you also know the path forward, and you can teach people what they need, not just listen to what they think they need. Okay? An industry leader also innovates and adds something new to a space. And by that, I mean, especially when it comes to marketing, not just offers or opinions or perspectives, but also when it comes to the marketing and the strategy behind everything. Because a lot of people are literally entering a space looking at what other people have been doing for the past 3-4 years and trying to imitate that, when everything in the world is literally moving so fast. Multiple industries have changed massively. The online coaching industry have changed massively, and there are things that used to work years ago that's just not working anymore. So you need to come into a space and innovate and try something new and try something different, because the way you do marketing or the way you do branding might be the exact reason why more people will look at you, because you're just doing something completely differently. You're going against the rules of copywriting, or you're going against the rules of marketing and a webinar. You're going against the rules of, social media content, whatever it is. So this is like the confusing part of it, because it means sometimes not even using data or advice or any type of research in your decision making. Sometimes it's about using your intuition, feeling out what will people need that they don't even know that they need, what will people love that they don't even know that they will love, what will engage people that I intuitively know that this is a part of me that I can use in my marketing even though nobody else is using that. But this is about the innovation part, because I truly believe it's going to become increasingly important to innovate. you know, to go to the next level in your personal brand, next level in your content, next level in any type of webinar you do, whether you not do a webinar, like you're going to have to, the bar is going to be raised, because it's been so easy to, get clients, whether you're a consultant or you're a coach or you're expert, whatever. It's been easy to get clients when you're online and when you have a business centered around your personal brand. Like it's been kind of like you've been able to be quite lazy. I mean, even in the past, personally, I would get leads daily in my DMs, and I thought that was normal. Like I thought, oh, it's normal to like have inquiries every single day. I wasn't even aware of like, Joella, you are experiencing momentum and a place and a space in your industry that is never going to happen again, because the online space is growing to grow and you're going to have more competitors. So like you should ride on that wave and just kind of scale it even further, faster. Like I wasn't aware of that because I had I was doing such innovative things that nobody else was doing at the time, and that's why I attracted so many clients. But I wasn't even like thinking about the fact that, there's people are going to follow what I'm doing, okay? And you're going to have to like ride the wave even harder. And that's something that I always tell my clients as well as advice, is like, when you experience momentum, ride the wave as hard as you possibly can, and just invest, scale everything you can do, because the momentum part is not necessarily going to last forever, because the industry is changing. So when you are experiencing momentum, ride the wave as hard as you can. And then when you're not, like innovate, like don't try to see what has worked in the past, because everything is moving so fast, and not the same things are necessarily working as well as they did before. So that's something, and that's a reason for your clients to look at what you're doing, because you're not doing something that everyone else is doing. Well, everybody's doing free masterclasses or webinars, like you're doing something completely differently. And that's exactly why people will look at you and what you're doing, because you are literally adding something brand new into a space. Okay. So with this, I wanted to leave you, because I want to leave you with the fact that, industry leadership is not about being the best in your industry. And that's what a lot of people misunderstand, because being the best in your industry, how can you even measure that? How is that measurable? How would people know whether you are the best or not the best? It's about creating a perception that you are the best. And that doesn't mean you are not really good at what you're doing. It's just like, let's be honest, how do you actually measure whether someone is the best, right? But whatever it is that you do, you need, and whatever angle you have in your expertise, you need to own your way of doing it. And you need to feel like, I'm literally an expert and the best at doing things the way that I do them. So if you're a marketing consultant, maybe you're not the best marketer in your country, but that doesn't matter. Like, who is? But maybe you're literally the best person to have a unique perspective on how the beauty industry markets themselves and the innovation you can add to that space, whatever it is, okay? And it's about creating that perception, not that you are the best in your industry. Like, that's not relevant, okay? That's why I want you to understand that being an industry leader is less about being the best in your industry, but about being the most unique, about adding the most new things to a space. It's about, you know, differentiating yourself from the crowd and being a leader and not a follower. So sometimes that means going against your entire industry, not doing what they're doing, not agreeing with anything they're saying, but about literally detaching from it and walking your own way. Okay. So that's why industry leadership is not a shift in your career or in your job. It's literally an identity shift. It's just an identity shift, because when you lead from that space of, I am an industry leader, I'm a premium go to person, I'm the high end option, I'm the most highly paid person in my industry. When you lead and you create and you live from that place, you're going to see such a massive shift in your business. And that's why, my clients currently, they're planning 700K years, they're reaching 40K months, and they're like the go-to person, and they're attracting all the high level premium clients because of this identity shift, because of the industry leadership mindset, energy, perspective, rather than just trying to have a brand. Okay. So I just wanted to say that we are opening just a few select spots inside Industry Leader Lounge. And I really would love for you to apply to Industry Leader Lounge if you are an advanced experienced entrepreneur, you have clients, you have revenue, but you want to expand and grow your business, and you know that that occurs with an identity shift. You want to lead from identity, from industry leadership, from your identity as a CEO. That's how you want to make decisions. That's how you want to make shifts in your business. And Industry Leader Lounge is a mentorship space and a network. So it's a group mentorship space, but there's also some one-on-one support from me as well. So this is really a place for you if you feel like, I want to be surrounded by other high-level entrepreneurs who truly understand everything Joella is talking about in this podcast episode, who truly understands that identity and energy and mindset can transform everything, as well as strategy, as well as high-level strategy. If you are more interested in being in a space where we talk about stuff like this, instead of talking about, sales pages or how to post an Instagram story. Like, you want the big transformational conversations, whether it's high level strategy or just these mindset identity shifts. And you literally want to feel like you're transforming into a different person with higher standards, higher income, higher level clients. Just everything is just going to the next level, higher, higher, higher. And you want to scale, make more money, but with less pressure, because we are leading from identity. Remember, we're leading from identity, scaling from identity, not from push and force and the traditional way of thinking, but leading from identity, because that's when you start to make more money, attract better clients, and become the go-to person, industry leader. So thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I'll talk to you soon.